Okay, hi you guys, this is section 3.4 part 2. So part 1 covered these three, so part 2 is just proportions. And like I said in the other video, proportions are just a fraction equal to a fraction. Okay, so here I got a couple examples for you. So 3 over x is equal to 4 over 12. So the way you solve proportions is when you have a fraction equal to a fraction, you can just call this cross multiplying. Okay, so 4 times x, or x times 4 is 4x. And then 3 times 12 is 36. And you can see it's a one-step problem now. I want x by itself, so I'm going to divide by 4. And so x is equal to 9. And what this is saying is 3 over 9, if I put the x for 9, 3 over 9 is equal to 4 over 12. And it's actually true if you think about it, because 3 over 9 is 1/3. 4 over 12 is also simplifies to 1/3. Okay, a common mistakes. I got this column for common mistakes. You cannot cross-cancel if you're cross-multiplying. Okay, because then you get 1 over x is equal to 1. 4 divided by 4 is 1. So you're going to say x is equal to 1, and you can see that it's wrong. Okay, so common mistake, you cannot cross-cancel down when you're cross-multiplying. Okay, only if you have a fraction times a fraction like this, then you could cross-cancel if possible. But when you have a proportion with the equal sign inside of it, you cannot cross-cancel down. Okay, you just got to cross-multiply. Okay, so here's another example. If you see I went from 7 over 4 to equals to x over 8, if you can see that you can times 2 this way, so 4 times 2 is 8, so you can go 7 times 2, and you can see that this would be 14. Okay, that's one way to see it if that's possible. Obviously in this one, 3 cannot go to 4, and so it doesn't work that way. So if you can see that 7 over 4 is same as 14 over 8, which if you simplify 14 over 8, divide by 2, you get 7 over 4. It's the same thing. So that's one way of doing it. Or you could have cross multiplied and you would get 4x is equal to 56, divide by 4, and x is equal to 14. Okay? So either way would work correctly. The common mistake this way is trying to cross, if you have a times, some people end up trying to cross multiply when you're multiplying. It doesn't work that way when you're multiplying, only if you have an equal sign in the middle. If you're multiplying, what you really should do is just go 7x over 32. Just multiply the top, multiply the bottom. Okay, so don't do not cross multiply when you have a times there. You cross multiply only when you have an equal sign there. Okay, so I'm going to do a word problem with you guys, show you how to write a proportion, and then I'm going to show you some more difficult proportions, or not difficult, different style. Okay, so here we're going to write and solve a proportion. So a Sobe, if you can see this, has 35 calories. Ooh, I don't know how to do this. Okay, it has 35 calories in a 20-ounce bottle. Okay, during a soccer game, Kylie drank 80 ounces of Sobe because she was really thirsty. How many calories did she consume? Okay, so the way you want to do it is, when you line it up, you want to actually use your units, like how we did in the other one, so calories ounce. So if there's 35 calories in 20 ounces, or I could go this way, calories per ounce. And then when I make my proportion, I want to line them up again. I want to put the calories here and the ounces here. And I have 80 ounces, so 35 calories in 20 ounces. I have 80 ounces here, so the 80 goes down here. And it's saying how many calories, my x goes there. Okay, so that's how you do setting up a proportion. Use the units to help you line them up. Put the calories on top, ounces on the bottom. If you put ounces on top, that's fine, as long as you put both of them the same. And now I can see that I go times 4 this way to get to 80. So I could times 4 and get to 140. That's one way. Okay. Or you could have cross multiplied. If you didn't see that and you cross multiplied 20 times x, you get 20x. 35 times 80 is 2800. Okay. Divide both by 20. I can just take out a 0. So 280 divided by 2 is 140 calories. So Kylie, if she drank 80 ounces of Sobe, which is 4 bottles during the game, would have consumed 140 calories. Okay, so here's the other couple different types of proportions. So you can see I have x plus 2 on the top. We still want to cross multiply. So when I do this, I get 14x equals, and when I do this, I get 10. And notice what I'm doing. I'm putting parentheses around this x plus 2. Okay, and now you have to distribute. So you're going to get 14x is equal to 10x plus 20. And now, sorry, I want to do this like I do with everything, the line down the equal sign. Now I want to balance out. I have variables on both sides. So because I have the number here, it's easier if I just get rid of this x. So if I have 10x there, I just minus 10x from this side. Okay, this is gone. It becomes 0. 14x minus 10x is 4x is equal to 20. And now I divide by 4. And x is equal to 5. So if I put a 5 up here, do a check. If I do a 5 up here and a 5 here, this would be 5 plus 2, which is 7 over 14 is equal to 5 over 10. So 7 over 14 is 1/2. 5 over 10 is 1/2. So it works. Okay, so you don't have to check it in work. You can just visual check it with your eyes. Okay. So here's another one. When I do this, again, I want to use parentheses when I cross multiply. So 5x minus 2 equals, and then I'm going to go this way, and I'm going to put the 7 in front. That way I can see that I can distribute it easier. Okay, so I'm going to circle and rainbow, which I haven't seen you guys do. 5x minus 10, because it's a minus 2 here, is equal to circle 7x and then plus 28. Okay, now I have variables on both sides. We did this in the other section. So I'm going to minus 5x from both sides. You could minus 7x if you want, but I deal with the variables first. So I'm going to minus the smaller of the two. Be careful, I have a negative 10 here, so I'm going to drop down the negative 10. Make sure you take the sign to the left as well now. 7x minus 5x is 2x, and drop down my plus 28. And now I have 2 times x plus 28, so I want to get rid of the whatever's not attached to the x. So I want to get rid of the 28, so I'm going to minus 28. And what I do to one side, I need to do to the other. So that's gone. This becomes negative 38 is equal to 2x. And because it's 2 times x, I want to divide by 2 to get rid of this. Divide by 2. Negative 38 divided by 2 is negative 19 is equal to x. Okay, so if I stick in a negative 19 up here, and if I stick a negative 19 in there, negative 19 plus 4 is equal to negative 15 divided by 5, so this side is equal to negative 3. And on the top, negative 19 minus 2 is negative 21 divided by 7. Negative 21 divided by 7 is negative 3. So it works out good. Okay, so that's proportions. Again, fraction equal to a fraction or a ratio equal to a ratio is a proportion. Okay, hope this helps. Take care.